Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Farzy show here at the Steven Singer Studios. We got the Flyers losing last night. We got the 76ers back in the hardwood tonight in Golden State to take on the Warriors. 10 o'clock tip-off. We got a wild happening taking place yesterday when it comes to the Eagles and their opponent on Sunday when they take on the New York Football Giants. Jason Garrett gets canned. To help us break that down and what it means for the Eagles matchup this weekend at 1 o'clock, we're going to talk to Jordan Raanan, friend of mine from ESPN.com, Giants beat writer, formerly not of NBC Sports Philadelphia, but Comcast Sportsnet. Maybe I'll go so far as to say formerly of Comcast Metrophone Sportsnet back in the day. But first, I'm going to totally, completely, 100%, and admit every ounce of it, rip off one of the people I love the most in all of broadcasting. And then it's Scott Van Pelt. Scott Van Pelt likes to start things off with the best thing I've seen today. Well, for me, because I do the morning show here, it's the best thing I saw yesterday. And that is this clip of Dick Vitale calling a college basketball game, starting it off last night. You have to see this on ESPN. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
It is a very special night, and it's also the return of the voice of college basketball, Dick Vitale. Thanks so much for being with us, everyone. I'm Dave O'Brien. Sean Farnham with us as well tonight. Dickie, it is so great to see. I know you would not miss this. All of you are aware that Dick is battling cancer. The fact that you've made it out to Las Vegas for a game that I know you had circled for a long, long time is just awesome. Great to see you.
It's great being here, Dave. I didn't want to cry. I can't believe I'm sitting here. It's just really a big thrill for me. I want to thank all you people. Sent me so many great messages. ESPN, Jimmy Pitaro, all my buddies at ESPN. I want to thank certainly my family and all the fans. You've been unbelievable. On October 12th, Obi, I'll be honest with you, when they walked in and told me I had cancer, they thought it was mild-done cancer. And it was really going to be a serious surgery and all. I never dreamt at 82 they'll ever be on courtside again, but to be here today, I'm sorry. I hope I don't cause a problem out there, but I feel so emotional.
Don't apologize for anything.
Well, and the game is the big thing. So let's get this game going.
First off, for him to say, I just love the fact that he goes, we want to get to the game, and I apologize if I'm causing any trouble for anybody. Who could you be causing trouble for, Dickie V? Welcome back. Couldn't be happier for you. And look, I'm not the biggest college basketball fan, admittedly, in the world. I'm not the biggest college basketball fan. I am I think a rather typical Philadelphian in that I grew up with 4 major sports, and that was good for me. I root for my Temple Owls, obviously. Things aren't going so well in the football world, but hopefully Aaron McKee can turn things around in the basketball world. But when I watch college basketball, there's just a couple announcers that when they're doing the game, it's a big game. Al Michaels, obviously, in football, and whether you like him or not, Joe Buck doing a game in baseball or even football as well. But when you hear Dickie V on a college basketball game, it's a big game. And there's very few people that bring the energy and the knowledge that Dick Vitale brings and the fun. It's funny. Like, you could look at a guy like Dick Vitale and be like, he's over the top. I just find him to be Dickie V. If he wasn't over the top, he wouldn't be Dickie V. I've always loved the guy. I think he does a great job on the college broadcast. I couldn't be happier for him to be out there doing the game. And I can't imagine, nor do I ever want to try to imagine what that's got to be like when someone has to go through that and think about doing something that they love, whether or not they're going to have that opportunity to do it again. And sure enough, Dick Vitale was right there on the sidelines for it yesterday, getting emotional. And you can't help but get a little emotional while you watch him just intro the game like that. So congrats. And how about this? 82? Damn, man. You look like $1 million damn. Good for you, Dick Vitale. Welcome back to the college basketball broadcast. I wanted to start the show out with that. Now the Flyers. We'll go Flyers, Eagles, Sixers today. Flyers last night get blown out of the water by that Tampa Bay Lightning team that has to be pretty good at playing hockey, unfortunately. And also pretty good at finding a way to beat Carter Hart. Look, it's one of those games that you look at and you go, oh, my God, they lost 4-0. Carter Hart, what the hell? No. Now, if you didn't watch the game and you just look at the box score, couldn't be further from the truth. It's one of those games that Carter Hart's the reason it wasn't 10-0. It wasn't a 10-0 blowout. Kept track of, obviously, the goals watching the game last night. First one, traffic in front of Carter Hart Hard to get a stop there. Sealer looked like he had an opportunity to make a stop. Didn't do it. Second goal, Stamkos was right in front. Sealer was there as well to try to make a stop and couldn't. He made about 4 other stops on the play. Couldn't make the final one as Stamkos came in stick side. Was right on the doorstep and beat Carter Hart. That one, not much you can really do about that. Perry went top shelf on a power play goal. Barre Boulet. Yeah. He shot the fourth and final goal through traffic off a faceoff, so not much Carter Hart was going to do against that one. But he had a slew of great saves in this game that, again, kept the Flyers in this game. A couple in the second period he had. Pad save out to the right. One was on Radish, that particular play. Another one was on Maroon. I believe that was in the third period, and that was a one-on-one right in front of the net. He was able to make the stop. 31 saves on the night for Carter Hart on those 35 shots, excuse me. Whew. And then, the Flyers offense just wasn't there last night. They got their shots on net, 34 shots, and they just got stoned by a pretty damn good goaltender, Valesky. So that was a rough one for the Flyers last night. Now, what's funny about this, not funny, what is unfortunate, is that we do have a Farzy in the field for you today. It's the first one in quite some time, and I've been meaning to get back out there and talk to the good people of Philadelphia. And so I went to the Flyers game last week, as I told you guys. Had a great experience. The Flyers were great, and unfortunately, they lost that game to the Tampa Bay Lightning, ironically enough. So I was like, do I want to still? Because I promised you guys yesterday that I was gonna give you guys the Farzy in the field. And I said, should I still do it after they lose? And I'm like, hell yeah. So despite the fact that the Flyers, I kept it general with people at the Wells Fargo Center. I said, what are your early expectations for the Flyers, your early impressions? What are you feeling for the season? And they just lose this. Was the first game of a 6-game and 9-day stretch for the Flyers. So, all right. Let's see how that goes for them. Let's go, Flyers. Right back on the ice, by the way, tonight against the Florida Panthers. I assume you won't be seeing Carter Hart in net tonight for the orange and black. Let's move it on to those Philadelphia Eagles. So Jason Garrett gets canned. Here's where the Giants were offensively speaking. They were ranked in the bottom 8 in fewest yards amassed to this point this season, and 8th in fewest points per game so far this season. They're at about 19.4 points per game, I believe they are this year. They are one of 9 teams in the NFL. One of just 9 teams in the NFL not averaging 20 or more points per game. Now, here's the good news before we really dissect this. Here's the good news for the Eagles and all of that. The Eagles face 3 teams. 3 of their remaining games are against teams that are in that bottom 9 in the NFL in terms of points per game. They got the Giants twice, and then they got the New York Jets. So it's good to be playing New York right now if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, and they got 3 New York teams on the schedule from this point on, including this Sunday, of course. So what is a guy like Freddie Kitchens going to do? If he's going to be the play caller, offensively speaking, what difference is he going to make? Well, here's one difference that you always have to be aware of. Jason Garrett playing behind or calling plays behind a really banged up offensive line. They got some a piece of the offensive line back in this game against the Buccaneers. You never know, but they did. And then they also got Saquon Barkley back, who played Monday night in his first game since week 5. And look, I'm not comparing them skill-wise, but I think you could say a lot of the same things about Miles Sanders that you could say about Saquon Barkley for totally different reasons, but for something similar. One thing that's similar. Saquon Barkley has not had the opportunity to put up amazing numbers because he's been injured, whereas Miles Sanders has not had phenomenal opportunities to put up great numbers because he just hasn't been used. And even though he was hurt this year, that hasn't been his MO throughout his entire career. He doesn't have any coaches call plays for him. Now, both those guys are going to look to prove themselves for the rest of this year. Saquon Barkley is a far more talented back. Let's not mince words there. But I still think both those guys have not had opportunities simply because either they haven't been used properly or they haven't been available. Miles Sanders this year wasn't available when the Eagles started running the football. So came up with 96 yards last week in that win. Now you don't have Jordan Howard most likely this weekend. I love to see what Miles Sanders can put up in this particular game. Saquon Barkley just hasn't been available because of injuries throughout his career. And I believe he is a phenomenally talented running back. Jason Garrett didn't have that guy this year for the vast majority of the season. And now he's back. They gave him one game with him, and that was it. He was out. So see you later. I don't think Jason Garrett was the guy, and this pretty much sums it up. Take a look at this picture. This is my favorite picture I saw from it over the internet yesterday. This is from Pick 6 podcast, the old Flex Seal meme. Giants fire Jason Garrett, New York's offensive coordinator, after loss to the Buccaneers. And it's the Flex Seal, if you're listening on the podcast, with the guy slapping the Jason Garrett cylinder, trying to fix the hole in it with the Flex Seal picture of Freddie Kitchens. Yeah, that ain't going to work. So no matter what, and you know what? Jordan Raanan will help us break it down even further. But I just don't think the Giants are a very good football team. I think Daniel Jones is one of the streakiest quarterbacks you can ever watch. He's a very athletic guy, can certainly get you yards, but extremely streaky where I think he can't get out of his own way a lot of the times. And part of that is because I think the guy's shell-shocked for being hit so many damn times this season behind a porous offensive line that has been dealing with injuries and also not having his marquee playmaker in Saquon Barkley. Now he's got that guy back. He's got a healthier offensive line. Maybe he'll settle in. He'll be on his own home turf for Sunday. We'll see what happens there. But bottom line is, this doesn't really – all it does is give me something else to think about. Like, oh, was Jason Garrett really the problem? Was that the reason the Giants could have put up any decent numbers this season? Again, 8th in points per game, 8th in yards amassed so far this season. 8th worst, that is, in both categories. That ain't good. That ain't good. And I think it's going to take a lot more than just a change in offensive coordinators for the Giants to do anything really against a Eagles defense that's at the top of their game right now. Now, you might say 29 points. You allow that no matter whether it's late or early. It was the second time in 3 weeks that the Saints were able to score 22 points in the fourth quarter. They did it against the Falcons. They scored 9 points against the Titans in the fourth quarter. And then they scored 22 points against the Eagles in the fourth quarter as well. So I believe, I'm trying to think of the total number, but I think it's 25. On average, over the last 3 weeks with Trevor Simmons as a starting quarterback, the Saints have scored 25 points per game over this 3-game stretch with Trevor Simmons as their starting quarterback. 17 and a half of those points, so all but a little bit more than a touchdown, have been scored in the fourth quarter, when teams stop giving a damn. Now, Jonathan Gannon did address the media yesterday. He said a couple of interesting things. One was whether or not they took the foot off their gas. Did they take the foot off the gas in the fourth quarter of that game, in the second half of that game? Did you guys stop being aggressive? And he said, no, we didn't really stop being aggressive, but we didn't blitz as much, of course, because the minute you do that, then they get the quick strike over your head. Then you're really starting to sweat before Jalen Hurts scrambles for that touchdown to really change the tides of that game. And that I understand. In the second half of a game, it's a totally different story. That's why when people talk about run-to-pass ratio, I'm always about, well, what do they do in the first half? What do they do in the first quarter, especially when you're using those openers that Nick Sirianni likes to talk about when it comes to how many passes he likes to run, how many passes he likes to call, how many runs he likes to call. You don't see as many RPOs. Like, that's where I really start to pay attention to certain game as far as the game plan goes. Same thing on the defensive side of the football. If you're seeing Alex Singleton get into the backfield on now his rare appearance on the field, if you're seeing TJ Edwards get into the backfield, Fletcher Cox able to be able to break up a double team and get into the backfield. If you're seeing Marcus Epps and Avonte Maddox try to get in the backfield on an early blitz, and I believe it was on their first possession of the game, then that's all good for me. That's aggressive. That's trying to get after the quarterback and force a mistake. And that's what I saw many times against this Saints team. But if you're up late in the game, I understand not trying to allow the big play and still trying to mix it up a little bit. I actually think the Alex Singleton play was actually in the second half. But as you're watching this unfold, you can't continue to apply pressure to the quarterback when you're just trying to avoid giving up the big play in that scenario. Should that be the overall philosophy of the Philadelphia Eagles as it was for the first 6 games of the season, 7 games of the season? Absolutely not. That's why I was questioning the hell out of Jonathan Gannon. But he called a good game. And I think he was right in not being that aggressive later in the game. Now, one thing did get brought up, and I didn't hear this on the broadcast, but Gannon got asked about it during the game or during the press conference yesterday. Apparently, Mark Schlereth, and shout out to friend of the show, Zach Berman of The Athletic, who asked Gannon about this. Schlereth, during the game, made some allusion, some reference to Jonathan Gannon's play sheet not exactly being expansive, not being vast, having a smaller, shorter, tighter play sheet than other defensive coordinators around the NFL. Let me let you behind the curtain. And again, I worked for a number of years for Sunday Night Football, 11 seasons, and this happens sometimes, and teams hate this. And I'm going to play this cut for you, and I think you're going to see Jonathan Gannon kind of go, damn you, Schlereth. Ah! Told you guys I'm purging. I'm binging I'm purging Seinfeld. I'm binging Seinfeld right now. So everything in my head is Seinfeld's like, Newman, Schlereth. You can't give the goods, man. If you go, here's how it works. They reference it a lot during every broadcast, whether it's primetime or not. How the broadcast crew will have a conversation with the coach, an interview with the coaches about what their game plan is and all that stuff. And a lot of times coaches will give it up. Coaches will say, yeah, this is what we're planning to do. We'd like this here, so watch for that. But it's under the agreement that none of it comes out. No, you won't bring this up on the, not to say this isn't for air, but this is what so this way, the director and the producer know what to plan for throughout the game. They know what graphics to have ready to support whatever, to support those storylines going into the game. And I would get, as a crew member, I would get a 2-page little packet, if you will, and 2 pages. And it would just have like, hey, just watch for this, watch for that. And it was simple like that. It was mostly for the cameramen, so they knew what to follow. Now, that is under strict lock and key. And I've even heard stories about like Bill Belichick going around after that meeting takes place where you get that little 2-page thing, collecting them just to make sure. And there's nothing on that would go, hey, here's the play they're going to run in this situation. It's not that revealing. It's just meant to give a little bit of information to the broadcast crew. And this comes out many times and people have spoken about this publicly. So it's not even breaking news. But I've heard Chris Collinsworth flat out say during Sunday night broadcast, well, I know the Giants are going to like this, but when he says Omaha, that means that the next cadence is the real cadence, or the hut. That's how that starts out. And I actually remember that with Eli Manning before I remember it with Peyton Manning, for the record. And I know I'm going to get a call on this, but this means that. Like, you can't do that. So when Gannon starts answering this question, the look on his face told me that Schlereth wasn't supposed to open his mouth. And I like Marc Schlereth a lot. I didn't think this particular broadcast this past Sunday was all that great, but I like Marc Schlereth a lot. Jonathan Gannon answered the question about whether or not his play sheet is expansive like other defensive coordinators around the NFL. Tell me in the comments if you see the little from Jonathan Gannon on what Marc Schlereth was revealing to the audience.
On the broadcast, they made a reference to you not having a crowded play card or play sheet. Is that is that the case relative to other coaches? And B, what's the philosophy behind that?
Who said that?
I believe the broadcaster.
Schlereth?
Yeah. Is that accurate? I mean, I don't want to.
You can get that away.
That is accurate. Well, again, and I hear a lot of people talk about identity and this and that, and Jalen, I think, said it best. It's not what you call, it's not the plays, it's how you play, and we've said that from when we've got here. Our identity of running to the ball, out hitting people, taking the ball away, being smart, and that's always a thing that you're working on to improve. In practice weekly and in games, and you guys heard me talk about, you want to be doing this as the season goes on. You don't want these big dips, you play great and then you play bad. You play great, you want to keep ascending and playing sound, winning football.
That's all we want you to do. Sound, winning football. That sounds good. But you see the expression on his face in the early goings, that little cut? Schlereth, you bastard! That's what I think. That's what I think that little look was that he had. Now, that's just a little soundbite and a little facial expression there from Jonathan Gannon, who also talked about the amount of dime that they played in this game against the Saints and how much of that we'll see maybe in the second half against the Giants, maybe if the Eagles get a big in that particular game. By the way, I'm just going to tell you right now on this Wednesday, I am looking for this game to be an exclamation point game for the Eagles. There's a little gut check as far as, what if this whole change in offensive coordinator, what if that's the shakeup they needed? And then I'm like, nope, I don't think so. I really like the Eagles this weekend. And I would love for them to have an exclamation point game. And I feel like they've had some of those as far as the run game is gone. I'd like to see Jalen Hurts, pad that stat sheet a little bit. And you might say, oh, it's hollow numbers. Who needs it? No, I think he would like that. Especially because, oh, well, he's running too much, all that stuff. Like, I hate that argument from a young quarterback like this. And the fact that when he does run, he rarely takes that hit, as I've said, I think, every day so far this week and said many times in the past. So I'd like to see him get those passing numbers up a little bit, just so I don't have to put up with as much of the BS that I hear from the piping hot takes. By the way, later in the show, the hottest take ever. I'm not kidding you. That's not a hot take about a hot take. I'm telling you, I'm reporting news here that I'm about to tell you, or at least play for you, the hottest take ever taken in the history of sports. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Yeah, I'm not going to oversell it. I'm just going to tell you right what it is. It's the hottest take ever in the history of sports. I'll give you that later in the show. And again, it's not my take, just for the record. Somebody else's take that I don't agree with, but it's piping hot. So that's what Jonathan Gannon got at yesterday. Now, the other thing that he got into here was the roughing the passer penalty. And there's a little two-parter here. The first thing is him talking about the unfortunate roughing the passer call that Javon Hargrave took this past weekend against the Saints. Then he was also, follow-up question, he was asked about, what are we calling her now? The mayor of Delco? Mary? The fan in the stands that we have all, fell in love with, this lady. Just, I want to speak for everyone in the Delaware Valley. I love you. And second, are you single? Jonathan Gannon did see her. He comments on the roughing the passer, what they have to do, and also the mayor of Delco. Here's Jonathan Gannon on all that.
It could go either way, and, I know the refs have a hard job and they call what they call, but we just got to continue to educate our players. And, this is how we have to hit quarterbacks. This is how we have to not land on them. This is what we have to do with our hands. I saw the one to play Daniel Jones, and it's a free runner, and you could tell they coach it to get your pass hand up, and the guy kind of elevates, and he doesn't even really hit him, and his hand comes down and he smacks him in the mouth. It's like, oh, geez, it's a tough one, But that's a tough penalty. Those are bang bang, and that's always yes, Jeff. We got to continue to educate our players, and not, try to stay out of those situations where it's 50-50. You see the refs talking to each other. Are we calling that or not? It looked pretty violent. He was up around the head and neck area, and then it comes out late. And I think that's why you saw the reaction from the crowd, because it wasn't thrown right away. But I did see the woman's reaction. My wife, I walked in the door and she says, "Man, I love Philadelphia." But so I said, "So do I."
That is a great anecdote. That's a great story, Jonathan Gannon. And I can only imagine what that conversation must be like as far as this, man, I love Philly. And we are a different breed. I will say that we are very much a different breed of human and fan, for that matter. So love every second of that. Hopefully the Eagles stay aggressive as they were in the first half of this game, and they're able to do that against the Giants as well. So we'll keep our fingers crossed there. TJ Edwards, I don't think I mentioned inside his one-year contract extension. That's great. I think he had certainly earned that. I'm going to go ahead and pull a little bit of a 30 for 30 here. And that is to say this. What if I told you, for the people on the podcast, let me get a little bit closer here. What if I told you that the Eagles in one season found a franchise quarterback and a franchise linebacker? Like, what if I told you that? Because that's possible. TJ Edwards been playing out well. What if same year, what if that happened? What if they got their franchise guy in Jalen Hurts, who I believe continues to take those big steps up the mountain of franchise quarterback this year? He's at least earned next year as far as I'm concerned. What if I told you they got that guy? And then they also got a reliable playmaking linebacker. Because if you remember, Jordan Hicks, when he was here in Philadelphia, pretty damn good linebacker. Pretty damn good linebacker out there in Arizona as well. Has led the league in tackles at least once since he's been out there. Pretty damn good linebacker. Playmaker. We picked 6 he had against the Cowboys. I believe was that a Sunday night game? I think it was a Sunday night game. So playmaker, couldn't stay healthy, couldn't stay on the field. Like to see what happens now if they have another playmaking linebacker out there. What if I told you that the Eagles got 2 of those in one season? If they emerged in one season. I like it. I'd be here for it. Sixers conversation. Warriors tonight, 10 o'clock tip-off. Sixers going into tonight's game they go in as 10.5-point underdogs to the Warriors. I tried jumping on earlier and just seeing what Tyrese Maxey's over-under was, what his line was, his points total was, and did nothing. It wasn't available yet. Damn you. So we'll see what happens later tonight. But 10 o'clock tip, it ends their road trip, so they'll be back in Philly in the not-too-distant future. If you haven't seen the back page of the Daily News, friend of the show, Marcus Hayes, has a story. And it's now be nice. Ben Simmons clearly needs help and your support. And the back page of the Daily News has the back of a black T-shirt with Ben Simmons as the Mr. Softy logo. For people that haven't seen that yet, there it is. That's the back page of the Daily News. And in the story, Marcus outlines the struggles that Ben Simmons has gone through on the court and being Australian, coming to America, playing in a tough city, having struggles, obviously. And then, again, Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid not having their player or teammates back after Game 7 of the NBA Eastern Conference semifinals last year. I went and listened to Ben Simmons' last press conference following that Game 7. And there was something very eerie that did stick out. And the thing that stuck out was he was asked about his foul shooting and whether or not that's a mental thing or a physical thing. And he said definitely mental. And it was just like the way he said it, giving what we know now about what's being talked about with Ben Simmons, it was just an eerie thing. But with that being said, here's the toughest pill for me to swallow when it comes to everything surrounding Ben Simmons and anything surrounding mental health or mental readiness. And it's not even money. It's not even the fact that, and Marcus talks about how he showed up and it looks suspicious because he showed up, when he started to get fined and he started losing money over it. And there wasn't a peep uttered about the whole mental health or mental readiness thing until he showed up at Sixers camp and all that. Or Sixers practice, I should say. So it's not even about the money for me that's just a tough pill to swallow. In this day and age where we have made so many strides to understand and be compassionate with people that have mental health issues, why didn't they drop that? I hate to call it a card and make it like I'm belittling it, but why didn't they reference that before? Why, when everything else was leaking out from it's not up to me to fix my trade value to I can't play with I can't play with Joel Embiid, or I can't play in front of Philadelphia fans again. Like when all those things were leaking out left and right, like the floodgates were open, how was it not one utterance, not one syllable, not one letter, not one like eyebrow raise, hint that Ben Simmons was going through any type of mental health issue or readiness issue? How, like in this day and age, how do you not drop that immediately? Because it would have been received different. Like it certainly would have been received by me a lot different. Whether it's off the court issues, whether it's on the court issues. Because right now, the only way I look at it as, Ben, this is all happening because you weren't good enough. Acknowledge it, be accountable of it, correct it, work your ass off to get better at it, come back and be better at it. Whether that's foul shooting, whether that's jump shots, like it's still just, it's amazing to me that you have another example in the league, like a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's just like, by the way, I think the Giannis Antetokounmpo thing is done. It's definitely Kumpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I feel like some people are trying to keep that alive for a long time. But anyway, you should have an example in the league, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he's out there and he's hitting his free throws. He's taking his time, certainly. He's shooting threes. He's improving his mid-range game, like all that stuff. He's watching him and go, wow, why can't Ben do that? And then you look at this team and you see a guy like Tyrese Maxey, who from last year at the start to right now is a totally different player. He's amazing now. And you just watch the hard work that he put into it. And the maturation process there. Joel Embiid didn't come into this league an MVP candidate. He had to work on his defensive footwork. His offensive footwork was unmatched. Amazing. Defensively speaking, wasn't there. Worked on it. Got better. People yelling at him to stop shooting threes. To hell with you. And he goes out there and he shoots threes. And he shoots them at almost a 38, 40% clip. All right, man. Way to improve. Way to work on it. Ben, where's the improvement? Where's that? It's still amazing. The hardest thing for me to accept, for me to get my head around, without hearing from Ben yet, by the way, and that's what I'm still eager and waiting for. But how in this day and age of all times ever, if mental health is an issue, this is the time to acknowledge it before the poop storm starts of all the things that leaked out. How, with all those other things leaked out that would only make us not like you, how would the one thing that we'd actually be compassionate about elude all the things that leaked out? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I look forward to, I'll say what I've always said. I look forward to hearing from Ben. And I also want to say this. I have been, after the season, after everything went out, everyone was like, oh, trade Ben, get rid of Ben, you got to trade him. Like right after the season ended last year, after the semifinals. After that happened, I was like, I'll take Ben back. I'll give him another shot. I'll give him the offseason. Maybe this is the kick in the ass that he needs before he comes back and actually takes his game to the next level that we all know he can get to, right? At least we thought he could. Not the case. For whatever reason, not the case. Now that all this other stuff has come out, even before the mental health stuff, I'm like, if you don't want to be here, why do I want you here? And if all this other stuff is going to come out about how you can't play with Joel Embiid, what the? You serious? And you know what else? I was going through, I my daughter's too, so as you can imagine, I got just a ridiculous amount of photos of my daughter. So I'm trying to clear up space with other things. I'm going back through old photos. And you know what I came across? And I'm sorry, I wish I would have put it in my my clips here, but I didn't because I'm an idiot. But remember when Ben Simmons was injured his rookie year? And Joel Embiid posted a picture of him taking Ben Simmons out and like hanging out with him, trying to make him feel included because Joel Embiid knew what it was like to be a first-year pro, I'll say. I won't say rookie, but first-year pro, and knew what it was like to not be around the team, how much that has to suck, to not be able to go out there and play with your teammates and start your career that you've dreamed about your entire life. Yeah, that kind of sucks. So Joel Embiid put his arm around Ben Simmons. Hey, man, let's go out. Did the same thing with Markelle Fultz, as a matter of fact. And now for this to hit the fan in the way that it has is wildly unfortunate. Wildly unfortunate. Hope it's over sooner rather than later. That's for sure. All right. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to get to our good friend. Yeah, I don't know, JD. I don't know why my screen is freaking out. I think it's because I'm so it can't take my piping hot takes. I think that's what it is. It's over. Anyway, before we get to my good friend Jordan Raanan, I do want to get to this. My good friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Ladies and gentlemen, do what I do. Trust Steven Singer. Steven Singer Jewelers. Other jewelers have another reason to hate this guy. You know why? He's already stocked up for the holidays on everything that's going on when it comes to Anita diamond stud earrings. Oof, they're beautiful. And guess what? They're under $270. Under $270. Beautiful Anita diamond earrings. Fully stocked at Steven Singer Jewelers. I hate stevensinger.com. Flawless to the eye, near colorless. These are the perfect gift for the holiday season. So get your shopping done early for that special someone in your life. Anita diamond stud earrings for just under $270. By the way, if that sounds familiar, it's because it's the same price as last year. Steven hasn't jacked up the price even a little bit for you. So he wants to take care of you. It's the perfect price, as a matter of fact. And that's what Steven does. Perfect price every single day. No sales, no discounts, no BS. Steven's real diamond studs, flawless, colorless to the eye, famous value, lifetime trade-in guarantee as well. You can trade up your diamond studs anytime and receive exactly what you paid towards them for a new pair. How incredible is that? And with the unbeatable full 100-day, 100% money-back guarantee, making it no-risk shopping for the holiday, how the hell could you go wrong? You can't. Go now to IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price, the perfect price every single day. IHateStevenSinger.com. Here's what we got. Jordan Raanan right here. We got Farzy in the field following that. Social media check-in. We got that for you. And then the hottest take in the history of hot takes. That's what's coming up. But right now, let's jump on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line and talk to our good friend, Jordan Raanan, ESPN.com Giants beat writer. And joining us right now, the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, a guy I've known for quite some time. I believe he was voted Sexiest Reporter of the Year 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Jordan Raanan from ESPN.com. What's up there, Jordan?
What's going on? Hey, wait, you know what? I might even have something from, like, my Phillies. Look at this. See?
I love a working set. Oh, look at you. You're Michael Vick. Oh, that's...
The football, he no longer has the football. It's missing, but
he's just dancing.
An old freebie giveaway somewhere over the years of working in Philadelphia.
That's great. I love when sets come alive. Here's Hamilton Porter from the Sandlot. There he is. That was a giveaway from years ago. Got the Phillies.
My 10-year-old daughter, we watched the Sandlot the other day for the first time. She loved it.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I got a little bit of time. My daughter's still into Buzz Lightyear, so I'm waiting to work in the sports themes with her.
Yeah.
Now, first off,
big day.
Let me thank you right out of the gate. I'm just a big idiot, and I'm like, oh, it's pandemic, nobody's really traveling all that much, and here you are. Of course, you were just in Tampa at the time we taped this. You were Tuesday morning. You were in Tampa just after the Giants, unfortunately fortunately for Eagles fans, got their butts kicked by the Bucks. So thank you for coming on despite the travel day for you.
You got it. Anytime, man. We made it work. It's a tough life having to go to Tampa. I might have squeezed in around a golf while I was there.
Oh, look at you.
Maybe.
Hey, I was reading your story, Jordan. Everyone should read your stuff. Jordan Raanan, one more time, ESPN.com, Giants beat reporter. A lot of Philly ties in your career that we'll get to a little bit later. But I was reading your story on ESPN.com about Jason Garrett being let go. And one of the things that jumped out to me was Joe Judge saying that this wasn't a snap decision. This is something that he had been thinking about for a long time, and there's never really a good time to do this in season. So with that being said, Jordan, why do you think now was the time to let him go?
Yeah, it's interesting because they just came off the bye week last week. So you're like, wait, why wouldn't they do it in the bye? And now Joe Judge wouldn't get into this, but my understanding is that they had all their skill position players injured in the first half of the season. So this was like, he's got a terrible offensive line. We all know that. So, like, their line is really bad right now. I'm not sure any coordinator can really have success. And he said this. Jason Garrett said it this week. He even was like, hey, we're rebuilding our offensive line. We haven't invested the resources. Like, so you could tell that this was kind of brewing. But then I think there was like, all right, let's give him one more shot. Saquon was back this week. Andrew Thomas, their left tackle, was back. Kenny Golladay was the healthiest he's been since week 4 for like one game this season. Kadarius Toney was healthier. Let's give him an opportunity one time with some of these weapons that we tried to get together this offseason. And then they did that. And it was a defense against Tampa that's been struggling. They scored 10 points. And remember, their only touchdown came, they got the ball offensively at the 5-yard line. So it's not like they did 215 yards of total offense. And I think Joe Judge, after the game, made it very clear. Like, it was pretty evident that he was PO'd with Jason Garrett, and he had reached his limit with Jason Garrett in this offense. And I went to sleep last night with, like, one eye open because you knew that something had a good chance of going down.
Yeah, and plus you probably had a 7 o'clock tea time somewhere, right?
No, that was the day before.
I'm sorry.
Mixing up dates here.
When it comes to what the new defensive or offensive coordinator has to do, Freddie Kitchens taking over those responsibilities. Aside from everyone just like waving a magic wand, making everybody healthy on the Giants, what does he have to do come this weekend against the Eagles?
They got to find a way to scheme the ball to some of these playmakers, man. I mean, you pay Kenny Golladay $40 million guaranteed, and the dude has 4 targets in the last 2 games. It's like scheme some stuff up to get the ball to Kenny Golladay. Even if it means getting him one-on-one and throwing the ball up and letting him win. That's what Kenny Golladay does. That was the whole thing of signing him. Get Kadarius Toney the ball in space. Get Saquon the ball in space. That's what he does. He doesn't go and pound the ball into the line of scrimmage and get you those, tough, dirty yards that he talks about. Yeah, he needs to do that better and sometimes, but that's not, this what you want to do with Saquon Barkley. So they need to find a way to get these playmakers the ball and really work around the offensive line, which is a tough thing because if they get into any spot in games, and you saw it, if you stuck around on Monday night, which was a tough ask, into the fourth quarter, if you stuck around, the second the Giants have to go and just they're passing, it's over. Like they can't hold up offensively, their offensive line. It's really at that point right now. I mean, you could exploit 2, 3, 4 different spots on that line if you want. So if you know that you have to pass rush, pass protect, they're in big trouble. So they have to work around that line. You see them moving Daniel Jones out of the pocket, rolling him out, getting him on the move, using his legs, doing anything where they can basically disguise that offensive line is what could be the job. It's not just Freddie Kitchens, which is why I'm not really sure what we're going to see. Freddie Kitchens is probably going to be the play caller, but they're not appointing, okay, you are the offensive coordinator by name. They're going to let, I think, the quarterbacks coach, who's an experienced guy, Jerry Shaplinsky, their wide receivers coach, Tyke Tolbert, their offensive line coach, Rob Sale, they're all going to contribute to creating the game plan as like a group offensive coordinator. And I believe the plan is going to be, we don't really know, being a little shady about this, that then Freddie Kitchens will be on game day, the guy calling the plays.
Okay. I was going to say, that's a lot of, no pun intended. That's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Cooks in the kitchen for Freddie. Yeah.
Thank you. I haven't changed, Jordan. I haven't changed. So from an Eagles perspective then, I mean, I have the Eagles winning this game, regardless of offensive coordinator or offensive coordinator by committee. But how worried should Eagles fans be about this might be exactly what the Giants need to get them going? Is it all about the coaching staff right now, or is it more about the talent?
Let me just say this. When I was in Philadelphia, Andy Reid was there, right? And Andy Reid used to have a saying, and he used to say it all the time. The stoic Andy would sit there and say, it's never as bad as it looks. It's never as good as it looks. Never as bad as it looks, or never as good as it looks, right? And so you have to remember that. The Giants had won 2 out of 3 coming into the game on Monday night. Now, they played terrible. They were terrible. That was an awful game. You saw all their warts, but remember, they're playing the Bucs. That Bucs team is really good. Mm-hmm. They have Tom Brady. He wasn't going to lose a 3rd straight start. It was Monday night on the road in Tampa Bay. Tampa had lost 2 straight. Giants were 11.5-point underdogs for a reason. They're not 11.5 underdogs against the Eagles. The Eagles are playing better, for sure. But talent-wise, it's a more level matchup, right? The Eagles are not. I think you can agree with me. They're not in the level of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are loaded. To be quite honest with you.
No, I agree.
Tampa could do a lot of things. They can pass rush with 4, which is what they did against the Giants, then killed them. They have targets galore. Brady just picked the one he liked. Oh, you in the slot? I'm going to go to you and destroy you every time. And then that's. I think I actually like the Giants to be competitive and have a chance to win this game against the Eagles. Even before the Freddie, the firing Garrett, like they have not been playing that poorly leading into this game. Mm-hmm. And everyone's super high, and like I said, you're not never as good as you look, and never as bad. Everyone's super high right now at this moment. The recency bias with the Eagles, and you're low on the Giants. Whereas 2 weeks ago, if I said Eagles Giants, we would have been like, oh, perfectly even matchup, pretty much, right? Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. The only thing is with the Eagles right now, their run game, I mean, Jordan, I've never seen anything like this. I mean, I got to go back to like Ricky Waters being here in Philadelphia, like in terms of the run game being as good as it is right now. The Giants stopping the run that the Eagles have been able to put out there with Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard is most likely going to miss this week, obviously. But the Eagles running attack has been incredible this year so far, really over the last 4 games in particular. What do the Giants have to stop that?
Yeah, the Giants, they're not they haven't played great against the run, but there's one of the strengths of their team is supposed to be their front, defensive front, right? They can't rush the passer on the edge. They don't have any edge rushers, which is why I think you're better off exploiting them with passing. So a team that runs and pounds the ball, not a terrible matchup. Like Dexter Lawrence in the middle, really good player. Leonard Williams, really good player. Now they're missing the middle linebacker. Blake Martinez got injured early this year, so it makes them. It's hard for them to. They're not as good against. When they lost him, they went from a top 5 run defense last year, top 10 run defense, to a team that's more middle of the pack. But they're not a bad run defense. They can be big. They'll play big, and they should be able to hold their own to some degree against the run. You got to exploit some of the matchups, and that's the Giants can't rush the passer consistently.
Okay. All right. Well, Jalen Hurts needs to be a little comfortable in that pocket. Yeah, that wouldn't be the worst thing.
This is why the matchup is not that terrible for the Giants, right? Like Tampa Bay was a terrible matchup for the Giants. Brady went back there. He sat back there, had 7 seconds, had a cup of coffee, baked some cookies, had lunch. And then he, found, there's Godwin. Oh, look, there's Gronk. Like, is Jalen Hurts going to do that? I think that's the ideal way to beat the Giants. So they'll hold up okay. They're not great against the run, but they should be able to hold up a little bit. They're not going to get run over, I wouldn't think, unless they lay a dud 200 yards or whatever it is.
Well, I just want to say this real quick. I don't think Brady was having coffee. If it was some sort of kale coffee.
Sorry, he definitely does not drink coffee. There's drugs and chemicals in there. Yeah, avocado tea.
I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him. All right, Jordan, I'm going to ask you this question as easy as I know how. Who or what is Daniel Jones at this point in his career? Who is he as a quarterback?
Here's the problem, Mark. The fact that I can't give you a definitive answer, and we're in year 3, that kind of tells you who Daniel Jones is. Like, there's been some things. You see things, you're like, he's got skills. He's athletic. He can throw the ball. At the same time, his playmakers have been injured the whole year. He is playing behind an offensive line. I've already told you how big a problem that is. I mean, this might be the worst offensive line they've had, and they've been in an offensive line rebuild for 8 years now. 8 straight years of an offensive line build, and this might be the worst version of all of them, which is really saying something. So now that you say, okay, you're getting him out of Jason Garrett's offense, that was one of the excuses, right, of why we haven't really been able to see him, because he threw 24 touchdown passes as a rookie in Pat Shurmur's offense. He threw, and that was in 12 games. He played 24 games under Jason Garrett and threw 20 touchdown passes. So you're like, what happened here? Like, he cut down on the turnovers, but he's not making any plays anymore. How much of that is Garrett?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we're going to see that. Now, I think my opinion is Daniel Jones is a quality starting quarterback. Not a great starting quarterback, not a top 10 guy, but a quality starting quarterback. He just needs the right pieces around him, and he doesn't completely have that right now. It'll be interesting to see how much changes, though, with the offense being tweaked.
2 quick ones for you. Jalen Hurts, who is he to you so far, 15 starts into his NFL career?
Playing pretty good. I mean, I see him as a middle, a top 15 to 20 type starter right now.
Oh, right now. Okay.
Right now, yeah. I mean, maybe he can get into. Maybe he can be a top 10 to 15 kind of guy. I don't know if he's ever a real top 10 guy. I wouldn't go there. He's got to throw the ball probably a little better for me to be a real, true believer in him. But I think you can win games with him, and that's what the Eagles are doing. That's exactly what they're finding out. He's good enough to start and win games with. Is he good enough to really be a competitor? You tell me. What do you think?
I think
he is. Towards no at this point. Like, to be a real Super Bowl contender, you got to have a really good team around him. And he's got to get better at throwing out of the pocket a little bit.
That I absolutely agree with. I will say there's a couple of instances, and we'll get into it another time, that I think his receivers certainly let him down. And certainly there's been passes that he's missed as well. But I expect that from a guy who, again, has only made now 15 starts in his career.
He's basically a rookie year starter kind of.
Right. So I'd say off to a fine start. Last one for you. I know you'll give your official prediction later on, but I know you said the Eagles and the Giants. The Giants will hang in there with the Eagles. It'll be a close game. They'll compete. Any more than that? Can you give me anything whether or not the Giants will win this game or the Eagles will win this game?
I like the Giants to pull an upset in this game. And trust me, I don't pick them very often. I think I've been on record maybe twice this year picking the Giants to actually win. And one was actually, it wasn't even in New Orleans. I picked them to cover in New Orleans. They won in New Orleans. But so I'm really very rarely high on the Giants. I like them to be super competitive in this game. What's the spread? It's a little small, right?
3.5, I thought.
3.5?
Yeah, 2.5 or 3.5. Yeah.
I saw it before they played Tampa Bay. It opened kind of at like 3.5. I don't know if Tampa Bay would probably wouldn't change it at all. Nothing about it would change it. So, yeah, I mean, the fact that they're 3.5 underdogs at home is a lot. I mean, that's saying something for them to be underdogs at home. But think about it. They really haven't been favored. I think they were favored in one game this year. One game. And they're underdogs to the Eagles at home. I mean, so maybe they're home favored against Washington at home later in the year. Like maybe Chicago week 17. But like, there's not many games that are favored. Yeah. So I like the Giants to at least keep it close. Maybe win. I don't know.
That sounds like they could, any given Sunday. Jordan Raanan, always great catching up with you, man.
It's hard to pick them to win. I watch them play a lot. Trust me. It's hard to go there.
Oh, finally. Hey, I'm sorry. I bet the most important question. What'd you shoot when you played golf the other day?
What'd I shoot? I shot a 92, but in season, I'm not very good. In season, I'm out of my game.
Right.
It took me like 9 holes to start driving the ball well. So I'm like a 13, 14 handicap this year. So
okay.
Which is close to the best I've ever been.
If I hit a 92, man, I'm bragging about it, all right? So don't feel too bad about it. Jordan Raanan, do a phenomenal job covering the Giants for ESPN.com. We miss you here in Philadelphia. Thanks so much for being on the Farzy Show for the first time. Look forward to talking to you later in the season, my friend. My thanks to Jordan Raanan for joining us from ESPN.com, Giants beat writer, hitting us up there on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. Real quick, something just dawned on me today that before we get to Farzy in the field, well, tonight's the biggest drinking night of the year. And it's pretty amazing. I really I used to go to this place called Finney's in Doylestown with a bunch of my buddies, and that was the place that you'd hear, "Oh my God, Mom, you're not gonna believe who's here. Remember Tim from Cub Scouts?" Whatever. It'd be like that type of thing. "Oh, remember that kid I played soccer with? I haven't seen you since we played soccer in 3rd grade." That kind of thing. And everyone sees everybody, and my buddies and I, and I have the same group of friends pretty much since I was 10 years old. So we all get back, we all keep in touch. But it was the night we would just light the world on fire, man. And now those days are behind me. But I do long for those days to return one day. So to everyone going out tonight, have yourself a good time and make sure you drink responsibly. All right, kids, there's my public service announcement. And just know that tomorrow on Thanksgiving, let's see, I'll eat a lot. I'll do that. That'll be fun. And then I'll make some cappuccinos for my in-laws. I think we got about like 15 people. So for me, that's like a real small family gathering, but that's like my wife's max family gathering, like around 15 people at most. And I'll make some cappuccinos, and then I will proceed to drink probably bourbon and have a cigar or two. So that'll be nice. That'll be a nice night. But just be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Yeah. Be nice. Yeah. Always be nice. But just, have yourself some fun tonight and drink responsibly, folks. Let me tell you about the great people at Rothman Orthopaedics before we get to Farzy in the field here. How great is Rothman Orthopaedics? Remember the old you? The one that didn't have to put up with a fickle knee or a finicky hip or a shoulder that no longer does what a shoulder should do? The Rothman approach to orthopedics is here to get you back to being you, back to running, walking, working, and playing, back to living your life the way you want with same-day appointments available. You can start today at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com, Rothman Orthopaedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Eagles, Phillies, and Sixers. How about BetQL? Wanted to get the edge over your sportsbook? You need to download the BetQL app, the only app you'll need to make the smart bets. Their best bets computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports, and they give you the reasoning behind why you should place that bet. Their model covers everything from point spreads, over-unders, player prop bets. If you don't want to use the model and prefer to do your research yourself, BetQL has all the necessary tools for your betting research needs. Everything from sharp data, line movement, team summaries, lineups, injuries, breaking news, and they even have a leaderboard to help you track your own success. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store now to download the BetQL app. Oh, Steak in Maine. Love this place. Be there Saturday. Late lunch, early dinner, 2-pound tomahawk steak, fine glass of Pinot Noir from Cavada Cellars wine. Here's what I love about Steak and Maine. The food is on point. It's so delicious. The crab dip, the sushi, the freshly prepared sushi, the fresh seafood they have, the great cuts of meat. They got it all at Steak and Maine. When it comes to this place, they got a casual bar and patio. They got the party table in the back if you got a big party. They got the upscale steakhouse if you really want to just lean into that steak. Love it. And you know what? We're a bunch of carnivorous beasts in this country. God bless America. Okay? And you know what? The Travel Channel and the Food Network rated Steak and Maine as the #1 place for steaks in all of America. And it's right there in the heart of Northeast Maryland. Do what I do. Hit up steakandmaine.com for more information. Go to Steak and Maine in the heart of Northeast Maryland. You'll have yourself an amazing, amazing time. How about WinView, the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all? Who's the biggest sports fan? If you have those friends and family members who think they know everything, play them in a WinView contest over the holidays and see if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. Play a quarter of Monday Night Football. Maybe on Thursday, play a game. Tomorrow, play a game. And see just how much they do know. It's like a little extra layer, a little extra skin in the game when it comes to your fantasy football league as well. But it's not fantasy. It's not fantasy sports. It's not daily fantasy. It's not a sports book. It's simply a way for fans to take on other fans and win real money prizes on the games that you love. Do that with the WinView app and have yourself a good time. How about our friends at PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience? I know it's almost 7 o'clock. I got some time for you. Don't you worry. Right now, our first installment in a long time of Farzy in the Field, where I went to the Flyers game last week against Tampa Bay Lightning. And I thought to myself, you know what? They lost 4-0 last night. Do I still want to play this? I said, now with it, we're still playing it. Here is our first Farzy in the Field just to get a vibe of the Flyers fans and what they're expecting for this season. My first Flyers fan here, sir. All right, first off, what are you thinking about the beginning of this season right now?
A little streaky, but I got faith in them this year.
This season, I think we're off to not too bad start. We've had worse starts. I don't know if it's our season yet, but who knows? We still have time to turn it around. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about it.
We're very excited about the Flyers. Good start to the year. I think we got a shot, baby.
I got another big Flyers fan here, sir. What are your early impressions of this Flyers team?
Looking pretty good. Pretty optimistic for this season. Hoping we can make a big championship run this year. Last year was a disappointment at the end, but I think we can get back from that.
All right, can I just tell you something that, as a bald man, if I had hair, that's what I'd go for. Just real quick, just to let you know.
You know, that's what Gritty said, too.
That's what Gritty said?
That's what Gritty said. Yeah, I have a picture of him, and he was playing with my hair.
Are you guys related?
No, I wish.
Okay.
I'm pretty satisfied with them. I'm an optimistic person, so hey, I'll take it.
How optimistic are you? Are you thinking championship, parade? What are you thinking, playoffs?
I'm thinking at least the playoffs.
Okay.
I think they're going to do great. I think they're really, improving. I think they're going to probably go to the playoffs.
All right, I found my latest Flyers fan, and he's really into it.
Yeah.
All right, so what are your early impressions of this Flyers team?
Yeah, I mean, they look good. They look solid. You know, the consistency, that's the biggest thing this year. Making sure we stay healthy. You know, we got a lot of new guys coming back. Got injured early, coming back, trying to settle in. And, you know, as long as they stay healthy, I think the sky's the limit for the team.
Early impressions of Carter Hart.
It's better. It's better. It's better than what it was. And, you know, we made some moves out in the postseason or the offseason for some goaltending moves, and, you know, we shorted it up a little bit, so if he starts bombing again, we'll be all right, I think.
And last one for you, how do you see this season ending? Playoffs, second round, what is it?
Stanley Cup!
Thank you.
Stanley Cup, and we beat those filthy-ass Penguins on the way to the Stanley Cup.
All right, there we go. Drink one for me, buddy. Drink one for me. My thanks to everyone that stopped for a second to talk to me at the Flyers game last week. And hopefully, the Flyers, they get back on their skates again, right? They have some injury issues right now. Hopefully, they'll get back at it in the not-too-distant future. Now it's time for everybody's favorite part of the show, social media check-in, brought to you by Steak and Maine at steakandmaine.com. I have noticed it's been really busy. Let's just say that. Ken, what's going on there? How you doing? Saying hi to PJ. Happy Thanksgiving, Ben Timmons. I did what you did there. Morning, Farzy people. Morning, Sean. Sup, Farzy fam. Sup, Thomas. How are you? I like a nice sup. I feel like I can get away with a nice sup. Anyway, John Cheeseborough, what's up, buddy? Nice to see you. David, good morning to you. Thomas, the goat. JC is the goat. Let's see what else. April, good morning, darling. Thomas, nice to see you. John, once again. I like Ben. Good morning, weird Farzy fam. There we go. Ben, also Dickie V. Shout out Dickie V one more time. We started the show with the clip from him last night getting introduced during the college basketball game. It was great. Oh, Fuji, what's up, buddy? Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, man. I appreciate it. Jason Garrett fired. Damn, the Eagles were better off with him as the Giants offensive coordinator. Sean, that's another thought that crossed my mind. Like, you want them to be as bad as possible. Man, who's cutting onions? I know, right? I love Dickie V. And here's one of the things I really love about Dickie V. The famous speech by Jimmy V, at the ESPYs, 92, 93, was it? Dick Vitale was the guy that introduced him. And he's there at the stage, and at one point, Jim Valvano says something in Italian and looks at Dick Vitale and laughs, and they high-five each other. But him being a part of that amazing moment is something that always sticks out in my mind. And I always tell people this. If you are having like a really rough day, I watched the Jimmy V speech. I don't know how many times I've seen it. I would, no exaggeration, 500 times. And if I'm having like a rough day of it or just whatever, I can't get my head right, I'll just YouTube that real quick and I'll watch that and I'll just be amazed by it every single time. And Dick Vitale's a huge part of that. And now, obviously, to hear about his cancer battle that he's going through as well. And then to see him back on the broadcast last night, you know that was in his head last night. And it was just an amazing moment for him to be back out there. John, I'm not crying. My eyes are sweating. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check that out at YouTube. I got that off. Where did I get that off? ESPN just had it on their Twitter page. There's a lot going on there. When someone has to ask not to be censored, that's where you kind of know what's what. Thomas, I can't say that. I'll just say this. I'm very proud to be a Temple athletic supporter. That's what I will say, regardless of any other alumni, quote unquote. We can mock Jason Garrett for a lot of things, and we likely will. Very good point, John. PJ won't drop the hammer unless you pretend to be him. Oh, April. Do we know that wasn't PJ? I don't know what that thing is there. I'm missing it. I don't know. I don't have it on here. David, good morning again. Jason Garrett would clap for stepping on a Lego. John, he would, I believe. Jason Garrett, this is Sean. Jason Garrett would clap after being rear-ended. Maybe. Jason Garrett would clap for going to the dentist. Sean, not wrong. Thomas, love PJ. Who doesn't love PJ? PJ's a lovable guy. Producer Jim, to those people that are new. Oh, Ben, that's very nice. Appreciate that. Yeah, we got to 1,500 subs. Shout out to Brendan and Ellis, guys helping us out, associate producers of the show, and helping us out on social media, doing a great job. Still shook Hugh's take on mac and cheese. Really, Nate? You're shook on that? Like, in terms of being shocked that was his favorite thing? Because I've never had mac and cheese at Thanksgiving. I've had more salmon on Thanksgiving than I have mac and cheese, now that I think about it. Yeah, that's unfortunately a fact. One of my uncles one year went out and got a salmon. He went out and fished and caught a salmon. And he brought the salmon back, and we had it as part of our Thanksgiving deal. Thanks, Uncle Lenny. It was delicious. Jason Garrett claps for road work. Mopar, top of the morning, Mopar. What's going on? Jason Garrett would clap when losing the coin toss. John, I could tell you're just going to keep coming up with these, and I don't mind it at all. Mopar, Johnny Cheese, that's nice. Mally is probably still baking. That's probably true. Probably true. The kindest, most good morning chat ever. Nate, there you go. That's how we like to keep it here. Yeah, I don't like that. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Wait, John, I didn't see that. Amin and Schlereth are on the broadcast again. Gross. Julian, what's up, buddy? Oh, I'll just address this now. So tomorrow is a best of. Doing a best of show tomorrow. Friday morning, we'll have some new content. I'll give you my official prediction on the Eagles game. And then we'll roll to some other best of stuff. And some stuff you guys have never seen before. We have a special that we're putting together, produced by producer Jim, of course. Jim Hyden, phenomenal job with it. We got a special on the Zach Ertz, the Ertz Family Foundation, House of Hope, opening up. And groundbreaking and all that. So we have a special. We're going to give that. We also have some other best of stuff. Farzy does Denver. For those that watched the show months ago when I was in Denver, Colorado, Loveland, more specifically, about an hour north of Denver. I rode a horse. I went fly fishing, and I took you guys on the trip with me. So we have that little package that'll be played tomorrow as well. So there you go. So we'll have some new content that you haven't seen. It'll be best of, mostly tape stuff over the next 2 days, but I will give you my official prediction Friday morning. When the news breaks, we fix it. Damn right, John. Benny, good morning. How are you? Cecil, what's popping? Mopar, hot take. Farzy show greater than 1.8. Is there a rating or something that I'm unaware of? I don't know how things work. Okay. Gannon stops. Gannon shops in child size. John, you're on fire today, buddy. Cecil, it's all about timing. Farzy and beat impressions next level. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. It chooses when it wants to work. It really does. Sometimes I go and it's not there. Farzy, your screen is freaking out. Thank you, JD. We, I believe, fixed the problem. Yoko Yukio. Yoko Yukio? Is that what you have there? This is a quote. You have seen hell, where the souls of poor sinners go. It is to save them that God wants to establish in the world devotion to my immaculate heart. Our Lady of Fatima, 1917. Thank you, Yoko. Mopar, how long ago? I will scroll. Oh, wait, this is something else. Farzy wears the same shirt every day. What's up, Mark D? This is not the same shirt. I got a rotation of 10 shirts, mostly all light blue, and I rock those shirts out. That's how I do it. But if I ever have to go back into like an office again or like a studio, like an actual, like if I have to go into like another workplace where I'll see other people, if I ever do that again, I will probably just be I'll probably do a uniform. I'll probably go white dress shirt, jeans, black blazer, and I'll just wear that. I'm as keep it as simple as possible guy. Apparently something else is happening somewhere else, and I don't care. Kale coffee, April. I don't think it's a thing, but I wouldn't put it past the hipsters to make kale coffee. In the words of Ron Swanson, oh, good food, my food eats. Jason Garrett. Vince, what's up, man? Nice to have you. Brian, nice to have you aboard. Sushi, Farzy Open. Farzy Open? What are we, golfing? Need a shout out for Farzy show. Blackout Wednesday, April. You know what's up. Next Farzy in the field should be a chat golf outing. I would, yeah, all right. Get a golf sponsor on board? Yeah, sure. Sushi, I did not say the old Jew, okay? I said the old Jew. Oh, damn it. Now I'm hearing it. Remember the old you? There's the enunciation. There we go. All right. Jacob, thanks for chiming in. Jim, nice to have you. Appreciate you guys. Here is this is it for our that's it for the social media check-in brought to you by StakeAmain at StakeAmain.com. Here is our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, Hugh Lamont Douglas III came on the show and he said that mac and cheese was the best thing on the table, aside from the turkey, the best side dish Thanksgiving. He went mac and cheese. Matthew Judon of no, I got the other name in my head. Matthew Judon went out there with the New England Patriots and at his press conference had the hottest take ever given by a sports person ever in the history of hot takes. This take is so piping hot that if your kids are awake right now, shield them. Screen's about to get too hot. Listen to this.
We got to get macaroni and cheese off the table. All right, guys. It's just cheese and noodles. All right, I'm getting on my soap opera. It's just cheese and noodles, and it's not that good. Let's be honest, guys. Everybody's probably here. It's a little lactose, so it messes up our stomachs. And we got to get it off the table. It's probably one of the most overrated dishes, but my favorite is dressing. I do love dressing. So, but get macaroni and cheese off the table, and it'd be a much better Thanksgiving for everybody in the house.
First off, who the hell says dressing? That's not like salad dressing, right? That's like another word for something else at the table, right? That'd be crazy talk. You're telling me dressing. But I'll say this. As someone who grew up deprived of never having mac and cheese on the table, and as someone who loves mac and cheese, like good soul food mac and cheese, like what Hugh was talking about yesterday, they got the 4 or 5 cheese, government cheese, as Hugh told me yesterday, and he stressed the government. As someone who grew up without that, deprived, and I grew up in a very comfortable childhood, I'm not trying to paint a different picture, but I just want to say, if there was anything I was deprived of, it was mac and cheese at Thanksgiving. Thank you very much. And as someone who didn't have that, for someone else to say it's ruining Thanksgiving, how dare you, sir? How dare you, sir, say the mac and cheese is ruining things for everybody? There's never been a time ever in the history that says, oh, mac and cheese is here? Damn it. Who invited the mac and cheese? Who put that slop on the table? Oh, good, there's more dressing. No one ever. Except you. Except you. So there you go. That's the most piping hot take in the history of anything ever. Any funny Thanksgiving stories, Farzy? Eric, thanks for joining the chat. Appreciate you. Sean, I'm glad you agree with me. Dressing is stuffing. He is Southern. That's what I thought. I thought it did mean something else. I didn't think it meant salad dressing. Thank you, April. Any funny Thanksgiving stories? I mean, not really. Growing up, I have 21 first cousins, so we had like a full-on football game every Thanksgiving. And every Thanksgiving, we don't get together like we used to, unfortunately, but every Thanksgiving I'll text my cousins and I'll my mom's side of the family, because that's who we would all spend Thanksgiving with when we were kids, and we just play all-out football games. Someone would inevitably get hurt, run inside crying, cousin Matt, and then we'd have to be like, all right, well, we'll stop being really rough and we'll just play easy. My cousin Will and I would dominate. He played quarterback at Moravian, so I kind of had a leg up. And as you guys know, I played 1 year of freshman football at Archbishop Wood High School. But that's what I really miss. I really miss getting together with all my cousins and playing football. I know I'm 39 now, and we'll get together and we'll throw the football around. I don't think we'll ever grow out of that. But yeah, so nothing really funny, unfortunately, just the typical family stuff that would be funny to my cousins, and that's about it. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys really do have a wonderful Thanksgiving. It's a great holiday. Thanksgiving is my second favorite holiday that's out there. My first is Christmas Eve. That's the best thing ever. But Thanksgiving itself is phenomenal. And I wish you guys all the best Thanksgiving you could possibly have. And hopefully it's better than last year's, as we're just dealing with a lot of stuff, and we still are. But I hope you guys are safe, healthy, and happy, and get to enjoy your families all day tomorrow and enjoy the football games, of course. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll be back with you guys live Monday. We'll have some fresh content for you over the next couple of days and some best of stuff over the next couple of days. But feel free to hit me up on Twitter. We'll have a chat, maybe. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, producer Jim Hyden. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone at Buzz Sports and Entertainment. Josh Weinfeld over there. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys. Thanks so much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. Take it easy.